Okay, so in just the last few days, Elon Musk has dropped a flurry of announcements that are sending some serious shockwaves through the world of AI. It's been this rapid-fire series of moves that are starting to reveal a strategy that is just unprecedented in its scale and its speed. So let's dive in and really unpack what is going on here.
It all kicked off with this bombshell. Musk's AI company xAI brought its Colossus 2 supercomputer online. And the phrase you really need to pay attention to is first gigawatt training cluster. We're not talking about a small incremental step here. This is a massive leap in raw computing power, and it's built for one reason, to train his AI, Grok. But that was really just the opening act.
Because then, almost immediately, we get this update from the Tesla side of things. Their AI5 chip is nearly finished, AI6 is already in the works, and get this, they're aiming for a breakneck 9-month design cycle. I mean, that completely changes the game for how fast you can develop custom AI hardware.
And then, the final piece of this puzzle just dropped. With the AI5 chip looking solid, Tesla is firing up its supercomputer project, Dojo 3 again. And this is where the whole vision goes from being global to, well, galactic. The goal for this next generation? Space-based AI compute. So what's the deal? A gigawatt supercomputer, a new AI chip every 9 months, and now AI in space. What is the master plan behind this blitz?
Okay, let's start with the first pillar of this strategy. The raw, brute force power that xAI is putting together. I mean, we are talking about a scale of computation that is, well, it's pretty hard to wrap your head around.
The number itself is just staggering, 1 gigawatt. To put that into perspective for you, a typical nuclear power plant produces about 1 gigawatt of power. So xAI is basically dedicating an entire power plant's worth of energy just to train its AI models.
And if that doesn't blow your mind, check this out. The power needed for Colossus 2 is more than the peak electricity demand of the entire city of San Francisco. And the really crucial thing here is that while competitors are still drawing up roadmaps, xAI is already operating with the power of a major city today, right now. And then there's the other piece of this puzzle, the sheer speed. Its predecessor, Colossus 1, went from literally just preparing the site to being fully operational in only 122 days. That is just an insane pace of execution that most of their rivals simply can't hope to match.
So how is any of this possible? Well, a massive $20 billion, that's billion with a B, funding round. That money, it's basically the rocket fuel for this entire operation, letting xAI build out its infrastructure at a speed that just leaves everyone else in the dust. Now let's move on to that second pillar.
So, if the supercomputer is the massive engine, then these custom chips, they're the specialized high-octane fuel. This is all about Tesla creating its own silicon, designed for one purpose and one purpose only, running its AI.
And Musk has laid out this incredibly clear and frankly super ambitious roadmap. AI4 gets self-driving to a point where it's way safer than a human. AI5 makes the cars nearly perfect and gives a huge boost to the Optimus robot. AI6 is for the robots and the data centers, and then AI7, as part of Dojo 3, makes that leap into space. You can see the progression, right? Each step builds directly on the one before it, with a very specific goal in mind.
And that 9-month design cycle we mentioned, this is why it's so important. It creates what you'd call a compounding advantage. Every 9 months, they can push performance even further. It's like they're getting a head start in a race, and every 9 months, they get another head start. That gap just gets wider and wider, and it becomes almost impossible for anyone else to catch up.
All right, so let's put it all together. We've got this insane city-level power, and we've got this relentless chip development cycle. So what's it all for? Let's connect the dots between these massive hardware projects and the actual products.
So what's the end game here? It looks like a forefront war, really. First, advancing the Grok AI. Second, finally cracking the code on full self-driving for cars. Third, bringing the Optimus humanoid robot to life. And finally, building the foundation for an AI that operates way beyond our planet.
You know, what we're really seeing here is a classic strategy called vertical integration, but just blown up to an epic scale. By designing their own chips, building their own supercomputers, and developing the final AI software, Musk's companies control the entire process, from start to finish. It creates this incredibly powerful self-reinforcing loop.
But, and this is a big but, when you build an empire this huge and this interconnected, it comes with some massive risks. When everything is tied together, a failure in one little part can cause a domino effect across the whole system.
And we literally just saw a perfect example of this. Just the other day, the social media platform X
A really key part of this whole ecosystem went down hard. It was a major global outage that left hundreds of thousands of people just staring at error messages.
And look, this wasn't just some small hiccup. The data from Down Detector shows the problem was everywhere. It didn't matter if you were on the mobile app or the website. As you can see, the entire platform was just completely broken.
And here's the kicker. This wasn't the first time, not by a long shot. X has had several of these huge outages over the past couple of years. It just goes to show you, when you operate at this scale, things can get very fragile very fast. That kind of ambition comes with that kind of risk.
So let's boil it all down. What are the big takeaways here? 3 things. First, vertical integration. We're talking complete control, from the silicon chip all the way to the final software. Second, speed. That 9-month chip cycle is a core advantage that's almost impossible to beat. And third, the sheer mind-boggling scale of it all, from using the power of a city on Earth to planning for computing in space.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. This isn't just about a company building a product anymore. We are watching one person orchestrate the creation of this vast, powerful AI empire that stretches from Earth all the way into space. So you have to ask yourself, what does that kind of concentrated power mean for the future of the rest of us?